everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel for another live. I should say welcome back to myself because I've been gone for a while. So crazy. Hold on. My comments over here are so tiny. I don't know what is happening. Okay, well, I'll figure it out later. Anyway, welcome. Tonight I'm going to be focusing on my Leaf Flow stencil pack. It's a multi-stencil pack that just came out in my August 2026 release. And I'm excited to do something a little bit different with the stencil with you tonight. We're going to be isolating one of the leaves. It almost looks like a feather when you do it this way, which is kind of fun. This is a really interesting stencil set. You can see like you have options where you can do it with multiple different colors, or you can use the design all together. Sometimes if you turn it this way, it starts to look like waves, you know, and the other times when it's an individual leaf, it looks like a feather. It's just one of these stencils that kind of can morph into a lot of different things. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to start out by putting my grip mat down onto my work surface here. Since we're going to do a little stenciling, I find it a little bit easier to work on top of the grip mat because it kind of holds the paper and the stencil in place. And as far as the paper goes, I'm actually going to be using a 5x7 folded note card. We're going to go directly onto the card front today, and we're actually going to keep it really, really simple and do some fun ink blending. I might even do 2 cards tonight because this is going to be so simple. You're going to be amazed how fast this comes together. All right, so like I said, this stencil set has a bunch of different stencils in it. You have this one, which has the full design. Hold on, I can hardly see the chat. And I'm trying to figure out, like, all of the text is so super tiny. I'm trying to figure out what happened. Like, can I zoom in on the chat here? I have no idea what's happening. I can barely read your comments over there. Hold on. I'm checking. Gosh, I don't even know. Zoom? Nope, that's not going to do it. Okay, I'm just going to have to like lean in and try to read very, very small type. Hold on, maybe I'll try. Oh, there we go. Now it's big. Now I can read it. There you are. That was weird. Okay. All right, so we have the full design over here. And then I'm going to isolate one of the leaves and only stencil that one. So you can see all the leaves are individually like this. And I kind of like this one right here, this leaf. Do you see the shape of this leaf? I thought it would look really nice over my 5x7 card. It kind of fills the card really well. So I thought I would use just this one stencil to put sort of like a feather-like image in the center of my card. So of course you could, you know, do this with the full design and then mask off everything around it. But since we have one stencil that has the shape in it just perfect, I think it'll make it super easy. So I'm going to kind of position this so that it's in the center of the front of my card, kind of up and down just right. And I'll just hit that with my fingertips to hold that down. Now, I am going to be blending kind of close to the top edge here. So I'm going to take a little bit of Post-it tape. You could use the wide Post-it tape or the more narrow Post-it tape. I have both linked down in the video description, but I'm just going to mask that off up there just in case I start to go off that edge. And I'm also going to just mask off the nearby kind of leaves just because I don't know if I'm even going to get anywhere close to ink blending there, but just in case I do, I want to make sure I have that masked off. I'm using my ink stand for my ink pads. And then as far as the ink colors go, these particular colors were still on my desktop from the last cards that I made before I left to go on vacation. So you have seen these these colors recently be used in my last video that I just posted, where I did the Calm Canopy stamps. These are the exact colors that I used. I'm obsessed with this color palette right now. It's so soft and pretty. I'm going to use these same colors today, and it's going to look really different just because we're using different products with it, you know, different stamps and inks and things like that, or different stamps. We're using the same inks, different stamps. All right. And because I only have this one image here, but I do want to get most of these colors, I'm going to be like ink blending very, very small sections to get kind of all the colors on here. So let's start with Honeycomb. And I'm also using my mini round blending brushes from Altenew. Okay, so I'm just going to start kind of off to the side. I'm going to start to bring in a little bit of this yellow. I'm actually going to probably do a little bit more yellow ink blending here than the other colors, just because the yellow will be overtaken by the other colors very, very easily. Let's zoom in here a little bit. Okay, I'm going to put the honeycomb off to the side. Let's do a little bit of grapefruit and spiced cider. I think I want like let's see, I'm going to plan this out in my head. I think I want the grapefruit and spiced cider up here, and then it will come down to maybe hazelnut, and then we'll do lakefront and rainforest down through here. Or maybe, actually, I think I want a little more blue in this than browns. So maybe we'll do the blue up here, and we'll do the spiced cider and grapefruit down here. I think that sounds like a good plan. All right, so I've got a little bit of that grapefruit on my brush here. We'll just bring that in right here. I'm going to kind of try to go fairly light on the color, just because I want there to be some opportunity to add additional color if I need it. All right. Just a little bit of that grapefruit. I'll do some spiced cider. I'll grab my darker orange blending brush here. We're going to get that nice and saturated down here at the bottom of the leaf shape. And then I'll have a little bit of that hazelnut going up. There, let me get that open. I'll have hazelnut, so I'm grabbing my brown blending brush. I'll just have that hazelnut kind of coming in on the side here. And I'll come in and just touch a little bit into that yellow. And then I'll have this last little section that will be the rainforest up to the lakefront. And where it overlaps that yellow, we might get a little bit of a green color, which will be nice, a nice addition. I'm going to have this transition to rainforest and then lakefront. So grab my kind of dark green blending brush. All right, we're just going to bring that in a little bit. I love the addition of the rainforest going into hazelnut. I think it looks so nice. All right, I still want to leave quite a bit of that space up there for lakefront. So I'm only going to do that much of rainforest. There's really not a whole lot of space here for how many colors I'm using. All right, we'll go to my lighter kind of teal blending brush. And we're just going to get this up here in this top point of the leaf. I'm going to have it come down and overlap with the yellow just a tiny bit. We would just want to get that blend, that transition. It's turning almost like a little limey green I'm not mad at it. Adding a little more color right at that edge. We want a nice clean edge. And it can even fade into the middle, into the center where it's a little bit brighter. These colors just overlap really, really well. It's going to be really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. I'm not going to wipe down my stencil first because I think that's just the opportunity to accidentally smear some of that like blue into the yellow or something, which would be not what we want. So just lift this up really carefully. And then we're going to have this really sharp leaf / feather shape in the center of the card. So it's super, super clean and simple so far. I'm going to clean off this stencil really fast. And we'll get moving. I saw someone in the chat asking how the eclipse went. The eclipse was great. Unfortunately, like we were really only able to experience the partial eclipse that was before and after the total eclipse because let me tell you, like a second, like a minute or two before the actual total eclipse, clouds. I was like, really? Really? We're going to have clouds right now? Does it have to be cloudy right this moment? So we didn't get to experience the total eclipse. I mean, it's the risk you run, you know? Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But we did have the really cool experience of, like, even though we couldn't see the eclipse, it still got really, really dark, you know? Like, it's still dark at night, you know? So we saw that it got really, really dark. The temperature dropped. Oh, I don't know. It felt like it dropped about 10 degrees. It probably wasn't quite that much, but because it was so hot out there right before the eclipse. But anyway. Okay, so this is one of the cards I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to finish it off with a die cut greeting and a sentiment as well. But while we have our ink pads out, let's do another one and just try a different method of blending. Okay, so that's what that one looks like. I'm going to get out another folded note card. I'm going to go back to that same stencil and I'm going to get it in about the same spot. That looks about right. And I will once again use some little Post-it tape to mask off the area around it. Okay, now I'm going to use additional Post-it tape, and as I do my ink blending, I'm going to do a similar masking technique to what I showed in the video that I shared last week. So let me grab my Post-it tape, which was just right here. Where did it go? I'm totally missing it. Like I just used it. I'm like, how could it have walked off? It's somewhere within my reach here and I'm just completely blind to it. I don't even know what happened. Where'd you go? This is so weird, y'all. I'm going to see it the minute I'm not looking for it. I know I will. Oh my word. Oh, it's right here. I was looking for this and it was like this. Oh my gosh. I'm so blind, y'all. Okay. So we're going to start at the bottom. Maybe we'll just have it be about like that. Mask off that bottom area. And I'll start with the hazelnut. These are all going to be like individual ink blendings. So we'll start with the hazelnut. And I'll just bring this ink blend in. Just like that. Then I can pull up that little bit of the Post-it tape And I'm just going to slide it down right there. Just a little bit of that hazelnut can peek out from underneath the masking. I'll go to Rainforest, and I also need some additional masking tape. I'm glad I'm not the only one. In the chat, you're agreeing that sometimes things just get lost. Glad I'm not the only one that this happens to. All right, so I'm just going to mask off another little section. Here's some Rainforest, and I'll switch blending brushes. So as I'm doing my ink blending here, I want to make sure that I get that color all the way into all the nooks and crannies. So as I do my ink blending, I'm switching directions. I like to blend in a circle, do different circles. So I'm just changing the direction of how I'm blending as I move along. All right, we'll peel up this mask down here. So now we have that change of color. As I'm putting the mask down, it's like I'm purposely leaving just a tiny bit of the previous color exposed. And that's because I want to make sure I have, like, I'm not going to have a big gap in between. All right, now we're going to do Lakefront. It's a little bit of a lighter, brighter blue. Once again, I'm changing direction of my ink blending, making sure I get all those different areas. All right, we're going to switch to like those orange colors. So I'm going to change my Post-it tape because I'm afraid of the inks kind of smearing. So I'm going to get a couple more little strips of Post-it tape. Oh, and what I also should do is clean up the, oh, that's okay. The ink on the stencil doesn't want to let the Post-it tape stick, so I had to cut off a larger strip so that it had somewhere to stick to on the sides. But up above, it should be fine. Let's see. Let's do this one like this. Okay. So now we're doing Spiced Cider. Okay. I'm gonna lift this up. And see that I'm just doing kind of like really not horizontal lines. Hey, Kathy. Kathy's here. Oh, Frankie's watching. Cute kitty. I'm going to see Kathy in like a week and a half. I'm excited. I'm just going to be in Minneapolis for a different thing. And Kathy's going to be right there. So I've got to go visit Kathy. Because that's what you do when you're in Minneapolis. You have to visit Kathy. Okay. Coming in with Grapefruit. Just a little bit of a different orange kind of tone to that color. All right. If I can get this lifted up. Oh, I've got a little bit where it's not, a little bit of a gap. So I'm just going to fill that in. There, that's better. All right, and then this last section is for Honeycomb, just a little bit of yellow. I don't want it to be like super, super strong, so I'm going to kind of try to keep it light. We'll see how that goes. Okay. That might even be stronger than I had hoped, but that's okay. All right, so we have like all these little stripes going up on our leaf slash feather. Like, not sure. Like, you could read it either way right now. Oh, that's really cool. I like that. I think that technique would be really, really fun over the entire stencil. Just doing like big wide stripes of color for the whole design. I think that could be really, really cool. All right. So the other thing I wanted to try doing, I'm trying to decide if it's going to be on this one or maybe, yeah, let's go. I mean, we're just going to try like some different texture things. I'm going to clean this stencil. Just spraying that with a little bit of alcohol. All right, so now we have both of these, same colors, different blending techniques so that they look really, really different, right? I think it looks kind of fun. Okay, so I was thinking I could also try, well, I was going to do my Easy Repeat linen, light linen background stamp to add some texture onto these. I think that still could be really neat. But I also have the Halftone texture stencil pack, which really could look cool on top of these too. So I'm not entirely sure exactly how we want to do this. I'm thinking maybe we'll do both. Okay. I'm going to call it done when it comes to this brick mat. And we're just going to add texture to both of these card fronts in different ways. Okay. I'm going to tape these cards closed. This one in particular wants to fly open. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Easy C tape on the inside just to keep them closed. Okay. All right. I'm thinking, let's do the Halftone texture stencil. And I'm thinking I could just add like a little bit of ink blending around. I'm trying to decide how I want to do this because it's going to overlap the leaf slash feather. It looks like a feather to me. It's going to, especially with it just the one image, right? So we'll just go with it. All right. I'm going to use Pebble, or this could be a great opportunity to do like a, what's the word? Like a paste of some sort. All right. I'm going to get that. Let's see. Do I want to do it that way or that way? How do I want to do this? I'll just put it like this. And I can even move it around. All right. So I'm just going to get like some little, ooh, I don't know if I'm like, I don't want to mess this up, right? All right, let's see how that looks. It looks kind of cool. Okay. All right. Just adding a little bit of texture here and there. Interesting. Okay. getting like some overlap. Okay. I think I want a little bit more. Let's just have a little bit more up through here. Yeah, it's giving weird kind of very southwestern autumn vibes to me. That might be the color palette. I don't know. But I don't hate it. Okay, what I want to do is put this down, and I want to do just like really light kind of filling the gaps around. That's what I want it to just have that texture kind of come out a little bit more. There we go. It's a little bit hard to see on camera, but do you see how there's just even more of that texture kind of there? Yeah, I think that looks kind of neat. All right. For the other one, so now we've got these two, that just like totally changed the vibe on that. For this one, I'm trying to decide if I want to just keep it really clean or what I want to do. I'm almost thinking I want to stamp in white pigment ink with the light linen. Let's do that. I think that could be really, really cool. I'm going to clean off this stencil really fast because I can hardly see where the ink is on it. So I want to clean it while I remember that I used it. Wind blowing leaves around. Yes, kind of, it has that vibe, right? All right, so now we've got the other one. I'll just put that down right there in the center. And I have my Easy Repeat Light Linen background stamp. If I could get it off the, this is my worst, like the thing I hate the most is like pulling a background stamp off of the plastic. It's like, I hate it. Okay. So I'm just going to put that right over the top there. All right. And I just kind of want the center area. You know what? I think I'm going to do a little bit of pebble, and then we'll move the, well, probably the paper, not the stamp, and we'll add the white pigment ink on top. I think that could be kind of neat. So it's this area right here, kind of just like the center. So I'm just going to add that Pebble ink all over the center there. Then I'll take a blending brush and kind of just soften the ink. I can't even see what I'm doing. It's like on the black, but all right. And we'll just, okay. All right. I like that. Do you see that? It just added that texture kind of like right over the top. I love that. All right, I'm going to clean off the stamp. I'm going to clean off the stamp, and then I'm going to do white pigment ink, but I am going to move the paper. It's not, the white obviously won't show on the outside edge, but I think over the ink blending it will. So I'm just going to pick this up. Maybe I'll just slide it over, kind of up and over a little bit. So now when I go to stamp it, we're just going to add the white like in that area. All right. I'm going to remind myself where I'm adding it. It's mostly like right here. And this time I can see where it is before I stamp it. Yep, that's about right. I'm going to come in and do that same kind of ink blend around the outer edge. that I did before. Really pressing just in that center area. Okay, it's kind of hard to see. It's pretty subtle. Do you guys see that? Just adding a little bit of that white pigment ink gives it just a little bit of a texture. I think that works out. Didn't really apply all that well. What? I think it looks great. All right, I'm gonna clean off the stamp again. Doing the white at an angle would look really cool. I think like doing, like changing the angle of the stamp and doing the texture different ways, I think it looks really, really cool. Okay. Lift this up. I'm like, how am I supposed to get this back on the stamp sheet? Like, I can't even tell. I don't even know. Like the texture, I know it's like more vertical this way, but I couldn't get it to line up if I wanted it to, because I have no idea where it's at. It's a texture. Okay. All right. So we've got both of these going here. Two different looks. One's a little more subtle. Oh, Elmer's paste not applying well. Interesting. Okay. All right. I'm not loving all of the dots that are around that area. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything I can do to save it. I love how this one, like, kind of just is only in that center area. I love how that turned out. I'm kind of trying to figure out what's happening over here. Maybe I'll like it more once I have the greeting on there. Okay, for the greeting, I'm using my Thankful stamps and dies. And I think I want it to have, let's see, we're going to have Thankful, and then I think Thankful to Know You would be really nice. And we're going to have the To Know You on Rainforest cardstock. So I have some Rainforest cardstock right here. I'll just grab, let's grab a smaller sheet. Oh, that's a folded note card. Let's not do the whole folded note card. We'll just do this and we'll cut it down. Okay, so Thankful to Know You, and then maybe Thankful, how about for Your Support? We'll do both of those, and then we'll use the dies to cut them out. Okay. Ooh, a veil over the feather. That's a good way to think about it. I like that. Okay, so we want For Your Support and To Know You. We'll do both of those. And we'll do some heat embossing. All right, I'm going to prep the area with an anti-static powder. It's okay if the powder is really visible right now because we'll wipe it off later. And then I'll use that same white pigment ink. And when I do white pigment ink on a dark surface, I like to press really lightly with the stamps. And like some of it didn't even stamp over there. There we go. And I'll stamp it a couple of times just to try to get the best result possible. Okay. I'll apply my embossing powder. Now, my other tip with embossing powder when you're doing this, I like to credit Dana Joy for this because I saw her embossing once, and it was the first time I'd ever seen someone mention it. And I was like, that is so smart, which is when you sprinkle on your powder, give it just a second to just kind of find its home on top of that stamping, and then kind of tap your cardstock back and forth different directions. And it's going to help the powder catch the edges of all of the text. And I feel like I get better results that way. All right. I've also not used this heat tool in like 2 weeks, so I'm really going to let it heat up. Just going to let it heat up while I put my powder away. Lovely. And then I'm going to heat it from the bottom until it melts. There we go. Oh, I'm losing some of it. I heated it too much from the bottom. We're going to have to do that again. Did you guys see that? The embossing powder started to melt into the cardstock. Sometimes it happens, especially if you have a pretty porous cardstock. And colored cardstocks generally are a little softer, so that can happen sometimes. I'm just going to turn my cardstock the other direction. I'll prep this up here. And then when I go to heat my embossing powder, I'll do it from above instead of below. I think when, I don't know, especially for me, sometimes when I'm heating my embossing powder from below, if I'm not watching really closely, I can overheat it very easily, which is exactly what just happened. All right. Stamping this a second time. Yeah, this is the anti-static tool from Simon. You can see the little paw print on it. Okay. Get that powder again. And this time when I heat my embossing powder, I will do it from above, giving it a moment to really stick to the text. Move this away, tapping off that powder. All right, now I'll heat it from above so I can see it melt better this time. Oh yeah, really fast. Yeah, that was much better. I think I was nervous about the heat tool not being hot, and I really just overestimated how much heat it needed. All right, so after that's cooled off, and I can still see the powder hanging out, I can come in with a microfiber cloth and with some elbow grease, get rid of that powder. You can also use the oils from your fingertips. I'm going to be cutting this down, so I'm not worried about this little spot right here. But for the most part, that got all of that powder off. It like smeared this. I'm not sure what's happening there. You know what? Maybe it wasn't cooled off all the way when I smeared it. Cute. I'm having the best luck tonight, aren't I? That's exactly what happened. I can see in the melted embossing powder that's what smeared. Cute. I don't think it's going to show very much. We'll just cut it out. We'll go with it. Clean off our stamps. And then we'll put together our greetings. So I'm thinking I'm going to use the smaller Thankful die. And let's die cut this. That little smudge is really bugging me. I'm gonna get over it though. I'm just telling myself, I'm gonna get over it. Okay, where? You guys, seriously, I walk out of my craft room for 2 weeks and I can't remember where stuff is. I thought I lost my die cutting sandwich. Okay, in the dies, it has the different greetings like listed inside the die. So I need to know you. And I also need for your support. It looks like it's this one that fits all this one right here. So it's that one and this one. And I am paranoid about them moving, even though my magnetic mat is really strong. So I'm going to use a little bit of this Easy C tape just to hold it in place while I die cut. That looks about right. Just that much tape should do it. All right. Oh, I forgot. This paper can be very delicate. Don't tear on my greeting, please. You can tear anywhere not on my greeting. Okay, perfect. It like tore a little bit, but not over my embossed greeting, so we're okay. There we go. So I have those two. Put that right there. And right there. And then I'm going to use this small Thankful. And I think we're going to have it cut out in white. I think that's the plan. Let me grab some white cardstock here. Let's see, do I want it in white or do I want it? Let's look at the cards themselves. Okay. So I have that Thankful for your support. Maybe I don't want it in white because it's going to hang over the edge of the leaf quite a bit. So maybe, maybe I should have it in that Rainforest color again. Ooh, or Lakefront. No, I like Rainforest. I think I'll do Rainforest. We'll do that same color. Although I really like the idea of white, but that's okay. We will do this color right here. We'll run it through a couple times. I'm taking it much more calmly than you would. Well, it helps that I'm live. You know, I think if I was doing this on my own and I wasn't live, I would probably just stamp it a third time, you know, like whatever. But I'm also extremely tired and jet lagged. We got back from, like, seriously, we were traveling for nearly 24 hours yesterday trying to get home. And we got home after 10 p.m. last night. And then I was awake at 3 with jet lag, and I haven't been back to sleep. Okay. So we have that. Okay. So I think it needs to be a completely different color. Gold? I think gold would be really pretty. Let's cut out the Thankful in gold. I think that'll look really nice. It almost makes me wish I would have done gold for the other, like, sub-sentiments, because I think that would look really, really nice. I guess I could try stamping it again. Hold on, I'm getting some gold cardstock here. Okay. I might be able to maybe even be able to use some little scraps of gold, like all these little scraps I've got hanging out. Okay. Yeah, I found I'll be able to use all these little border scraps. This is going to be great. Okay. I could do a shadow, but I'm trying to not do a shadow because I don't want it to block out any of the leaf behind it. Okay, and if I'm going to do gold, you guys know I've got to break out my other die cutting machine. Because I am just that particular. So here's my Gina K Intricate that I use mainly only for die cutting gold things. But I always do it with the gold. Okay. And then I can put this right here. I'll just run this through. Oh, it stuck to the top here. Will you come out on your own? I'm trying to drop it, but it's not really working. I'll have to punch it out. Okay. Come out. Trying to not warp it too much. Yeah. Oh, I love that in gold. We're definitely gonna do both in gold. Okay, let's cut it out one more time. And I'm thinking, I mean, I could still stack them so it looks a little bit thicker. Maybe I'll cut it out of some white cardstock. Just cut it out a few more times. Is the Intricate out of stock again? I cut gold die cuts with this die cutting machine in particular because I have the ability of lessening the pressure, lightening the pressure so that I don't get those like circular little nubs that are very visible when you get them on metallic cardstock. So these little tiny die cuts, it's not as noticeable, but on larger die cuts, those little nubs drive me crazy. Betsy says, I forget who I was watching recently, but they die cut gold cardstock and ended up with the nubbies. I thought of Christina. Yep. Once you're aware of them, you'll see them everywhere. It's like you can't get away from them. Okay, so back to our thick white cardstock. And let's just die cut this a few times. Regular die cutting machine this time. What did I set? Oh, you're wondering what the settings are for the Intricate? I have it on thin die cut and like practically the lowest setting. If you're going to be doing your die cutting and you're trying to avoid those nubbies in all your die cuts, start with the lowest setting. And then if that's not quite enough pressure, then just, really slowly dial it up from there. And eventually you'll get to the right pressure. Okay, I'm wondering if I should do this on, I do have some cardstock that already has adhesive on the back. I could do it on that. Nah, we'll just do it. Thank you, Andrea, for explaining that. I probably have a card I could show you that shows all the little nubbies. I don't have one nearby. Hold on, let me see. I'm trying to find if I have any. All the cards recently that I have on my desk here don't have any of the little nubbies because I'm so anal retentive about it right now. But I bet I could find an older card when I wasn't being as particular that I could probably show you. Okay, well, here's one, but it's not, well, it's not as noticeable. Well, you'll still be able to see it. Okay, so on this card in the gold, you can see right there in the corner, that little nubby. When I made this card, I think I did in a live maybe, I can't remember. It's such a small little bit that I didn't worry about it. But most of the time, I try to avoid all the little nubbies, especially on metallics. Okay, wait, I didn't get all the white out of that. The ejection holes. Yes, that's what I should call them instead of nubbies. All right, I'm thinking like maybe 3 layers for each one of these will be enough. Sometimes where the little nubbies like are really obvious is if you have like some inlay die cutting, where you have a lot of things that have those ejection holes. Yeah, and it can be really, really obvious. Like, I'm trying to think, like oh, I wish I could show them to you, but I sent them all out because they were Christmas cards. All of my like winter berries inlay dies and all that, and gentle berries from a couple years ago. Nubbies everywhere. I was photoshopping that out. It was crazy. Okay, 2. Yeah, I think we could just do 2 for each. Let's do that. Let's do 2 for each. All right, we'll just adhere these together. I think this is crazy that I'm probably spending more time on the die cut greetings than I did on the actual like ink blending for the cards. I think it's hilarious. Okay. All right, so we're just going to do some adhering of all of this. Hold on, let me put that away. I'm trying to get to my remote for my camera. Tanya or Tanja, I'm not sure how you say your name. That is a good point. It does show that it's handmade, but also only someone who is a crafter would know what those are. Everyone else is like, what are all these little polka dots? You know? Or they might not even notice. It's such a small thing, you know? All right, we're going to see if I can adhere these fairly quickly. I really should have just used adhesive sheets to get these a little better. Okay, where are my tweezers? There they are. Okay. Whoa. Oh my word, this glue is globbing out everywhere. This is when I'm like, girl, you need to get a smaller tip for your glue bottle. I'm going to spend a little bit of time really getting those to line up. And I'm also going to clean up quite a bit of that glue that's like globbing out. Okay, that's not bad. So I have those stacked. Let's stack this other one. And I think before I adhere it this time, maybe I will do a little of this. Get rid of some of that glue. And then I'll put this one right on top. Oh yeah, that helped eliminate quite a bit of the glue squidging out between the layers. That was helpful. All right. Then we'll just add a little bit of glue to the back of the gold die cuts. And I'll do the same thing. I'm just going to tap that off. And then I can come in and grab the white layers for underneath. Andrea, that's funny. Andrea is one of my moderators, and she says, I always love the comments held for review that I have to approve before they show up. They are never spam. The spam bots' comments come through unabated. Weird, right? Okay, so that's just going to give it just enough thickness, make it look a little more substantial. Also, as I glue more layers together, I feel like the greening becomes more straight. It's not so warped, you know? Like it looks a lot better. Yeah, I really like the gold. On these little tiny gratings, I think it looks just really nice. And then now the question is, do I want to restamp the sub gratings that are on Rainforest? Do I want to restamp those so that the embossing is in gold instead of white? Give the gold a buddy. Yeah, it looks really cool. Okay, so here's the question. Are we doing just like thankful? Do we like it in the white or should I do it in gold? I don't know. It's also looking at it straight on. It doesn't show as much, but when you tip it, it looks really nice. Okay. Let me get the other card down here. So we can do both of these side by side. And we'll just have that one right there. Maybe I want it right in the center. If I put it right in the center, it would look like this. Oh, I think I like it lower. People are like, yeah, change it to gold. I think it could go either way. I think it could go either way. Like it's not, yeah, let's just go ahead and do the gold. Why not? But I do like it on the Rainforest cardstock. So we'll still do the Rainforest cardstock. All right, stamping again. Let me zoom out to do this. All right, we'll just might have to cut a vellum layer to go behind the thankful or something. All right, back to the stamps. And we're doing for your support and to know you. And we'll do this one more time. Using my anti-static powder tool up in that corner again. And I like to do, if I'm going to do gold stamping, I like to do gold ink or gold embossing powder. I'll do gold ink. So this is Lisa Horton solid gold. That looks like it's stamped really well. I think that's going to be lovely. Here's my gilded embossing powder from Brutus Monroe. Do that tapping back and forth, making sure it goes different directions. Let that cool off. In fact, I'm going to clean my stamps while that cools off. Give it as much time as possible. Okay. Are we fully cooled off? We gotta fully cool off before I can wipe it with my microfiber cloth. Yeah, I think we're good. There we go. Much better. Grab those dies again. And we'll get that shadow for the thankful. In fact, let's cut that down and then grab the vellum for that. Okay, where is my vellum? Just grabbing some vellum. I don't need a ton of vellum, just a little piece because I just have to cut this out twice. This is some really thick vellum. I find it works really well because a lot of times vellum or other vellums that I've had in the past, I have to like double up the vellum to really make it opaque enough to really show. So there we go. All right, and we'll just die cut this. All right. We'll put that through. And I'll be even more careful with how I tape these this time. Sorry, I don't want to get my head all in the camera. Just trying to get these centered. The greetings are so tiny, it's hard to do it. Okay. Put this down here at the bottom. See how I taped it this time? Just off the centers. Okay. That goes through. I'll have to link the vellum after I'm done here. It's one that I got on Amazon years ago, but it's still being sold. Okay. There we go. Lovely. Put those back in their spots. I store all of my dies on the packaging backers since I have the greetings printed on there. Okay. All right, now let's try this, and hopefully just having a little bit of vellum behind that thankful will be enough to give it enough support. Speaking of being thankful for support. Okay. Well, there's my Post-it with the extra glue on it. Just add some dabs of glue. Hold that in place. All right. That vellum also gives it something to anchor it, so it'll be even a little bit more straight. Adding some little dabs of glue. Okay. Yeah, I think that was good. It's a little bit hard to see until you're like looking at it like really close up, but come on, zoom in, please. I think that, you know, I think that worked well. Okay, so now we're just putting that down below. Oh yeah, doing it in gold was good. Put this one over here. Put that right below. I'm just trying to get it in the spot where I want it. So now when I'm adding glue, I'm going to try to put the glue only like in spots that are right behind the letters. Okay. And then I can even grab a T-square ruler just so I have a reference point on getting this nice and straight. There we go. going to use a little bit of foam behind the greeting, the sub greeting, I mean. And then I can just put this right below. Love that. So there's the first card. And then we'll do this one over here. Put a little bit of, I have to like put my black mat beneath it so I can see. Okay. I'll also grab my little T-square ruler. Get that in the right spot. Press that down. And then I can put a little bit of foam tape behind the other one. All right, and then put that thankful for your support right below. I think I want to move the, oh, I can't move it. The foam has stuck to the card base. Oh no, we're good. I can still peel it up. Very carefully. I just want to move it a little bit lower. I like the distance on this other one, so I wanted to just add it a little bit lower. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I think I like the linen texture more than the dots, just because it's a little bit more subtle. But, you know, different vibes, right, for each one. But there are the two cards. I really love that. I think it turned out great. All right, so I'm going to do a quick spiel for those watching the edited replay. I'm hoping I have time to edit it tomorrow. We'll see. So here are the two cards for tonight. Similar looks, but different vibes with different products, different blending techniques used on the leaves. I really love how this turned out. I think it could definitely lend itself to a leaf or a feather, depending on which way you want to go. I think you can go either way. Anyway, I love this color palette. I'm kind of obsessed with it. I'm probably going to have to force myself to move on to different colors at some point. Especially because my holiday release, like my 2 holiday releases that come out every year in September and October, they're coming up soon. So, you know, I've got to move on to a different holiday color palette. So here we go. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all in another video very soon. Okay. Yes, while I was sleep deprived, it's true. I'm going to like have some dinner and go to bed because I have like a doctor's appointment in the morning, like just regular checkup. So I don't want to be like rolling into my doctor's appointment and I'm all exhausted and they're like, should we be concerned? Right? Yes, thank you. I should have taken a nap today and I didn't because I got wrapped up doing work and other fun things and just never got around to it. It's crazy. It would be pretty pink and blue. Yeah, you know, change up the colors. I think it'd be really nice. All right. Thanks so much for joining me tonight, you all. I'm hoping to get an edited video up this week. We'll see if it happens. Super busy after being out of town for a while. So thanks for joining me tonight. I'm glad to be back to my crafty room, do some crafty things. If any of you missed it, I'll just share this one thing with you. When I was in Rome, we had just gotten to Rome on Saturday morning, very early, and we were just killing time in our hotel lobby before we went out to do a little bit of exploring in the city. And two of my crafty friends were with us. I met them on my crafty cruise 7 years ago. And Cece, one of them, she brought her watercolor set, and she did a little watercolor blob on her palette. And then what we did was we took that blob and we took a picture of it and then used our phones to like draw a little scribble on top. And this is what happened. Okay, so I have to show you the blob first. I'll just show you what I had on Instagram. So this was the blob, and this was taken from my perspective. So that's why it really, like I said, oh, that looks like a bird, right? So then, hold on, I have to show you all of our different versions. So then I scribbled on a standing bird, right? Cece did a flying bird. Christy did a swimming bird, and then my husband did a dog. And just going by all of the comments that people like sent to me, everyone loved the dog the most. My husband was very proud. That's the dog that he saw in the blob. He even made it smiling with a little tongue sticking out. He actually said that I thought it was swimming, but he said, no, it was actually just a dog like jumping. I thought it was swimming. So that was my mistake. But now that's all I see is a dog, right? It's crazy. But it is the same blob, because then if you turn it this way, like that's where I got the bird. So we were all looking at it from different perspectives, which is kind of fun. Anyway. All right, everyone, have a lovely week. I hope you find some time to do some crafting, and I will see you in another video very, very soon. Thanks for joining me tonight, and have a lovely night. I'll talk to you guys later.